Hello, my name is Andrea Christenson. I'm so thankful for Tony for allowing me to be on Wednesday Excerpts today. Tomorrow is actually my second anniversary of my debut novel publishing, and so I'm extra celebrating today with this Wednesday Excerpts. I'll be reading from Can't Buy Me Love. It's the story of Ella Bradley and Adrian Vassos and how they work their problems out together and find love with a little nod to the traditional Cinderella story. These shoes would be the death of her. Ella shifted again in her too small shoes as the elevator dinged to the lobby. "I can do this," Ella murmured. "I am prepared. I am ready. I can do this." The doors slid open. Oh no! The curving back of the tiny elevator was a clear pane of glass, a window to the world. Supposedly, these glass elevators were elegant and classy, offering riders a view of the sprawling city below. But the open look against the high vista of downtown Minneapolis sent a shiver down Ella's spine. It was easier to pretend she wasn't so high up when she didn't have a constant reminder of the distance. The elevator seemed designed to make passengers feel like they were soaring into the clouds. Maybe she should take the stairs instead. She took a step back and nearly stumbled. Nope. In these shoes, the elevator was the only real option. Ella wobbled inside, grabbed onto the brass handrail, and hit the button for the 20th floor. She would just face forward, breathe deeply, keep her eyes on the wall panel, and watch the numbers go up as she rose higher and higher. She would be fine. Probably. After all, the odds of plummeting to death in a catastrophic elevator incident were about 1 in 10.5 million. Above the number panel was a poster for a charity event happening tonight on the 21st floor. Buy-in was listed at $3,000. Apparently, it was an opportunity for rich people to prove to their rich friends how charitable they all were. Checking her reflection in the mirrored surface of the elevator wall, Ella noticed that one of her blonde curls escaped the updo she and Colleen had labored over earlier. She reached a hand up to repin the wayward piece of hair. This whole outfit was beginning to feel like a costume, a mask that Ella put on to accomplish her goal. Her stomach grumbled, lunch with Colleen a distant memory. See, she did need her regular purse. At least then she'd have snacks. This had to be the slowest elevator in the world. The doors finally started to slide shut when she heard a shout. "Hold the door!" Ella rolled her eyes but stuck her hand against the door to keep it open. A tuxedoed man slid in, bringing the spicy scent of cologne. The delicious, heady fragrance washed hints of pine and summer rain over her. He carried a purple stole in his hands. One of the upper crust. Heading to the party upstairs. She knew the type. "Thank you. Floor 21, please," Tuxedo said as he stood slightly to the left. Yep. She hit the button and stole a glance sideways. Goodness! The man was probably the most handsome human being she'd ever shared a small space with. His tuxedo stretched across broad shoulders, and dark wavy hair skimmed the back of his neck, nearly to his collar. His green eyes sat over a Grecian nose. Suddenly, the heights weren't the only thing making her blood zing through her veins. Oh, brother. She hadn't come to the party to swoon over the men. Focus, Ella, focus. You have one night to make this happen. One night to change lives. No distractions allowed. This night would change his life if only Adrian could get his date to lighten up. He fingered the fabric of the purple wrap he'd retrieved from the car. High-maintenance women baffled him. Next time his cousin Athena tried to fix him up, with a blind date no less, he'd turn her down. Tonight's presentation at the Shareholders' Gala was supposed to be about his new start. He needed to be focused on that, not on fetching things from the car like a pet poodle. Adrian checked his watch. 7:27. Good. He still had over an hour to schmooze the shareholders before his presentation at the annual meeting. Plus, he really hoped they served those little spanakopita he'd tasted the week before. The Greek spinach pastry, emblazoned with the family insignia, impressed even Costas Vassos, his notoriously hard-to-impress father. He checked his watch again. Slow elevator, eh? He didn't know why he'd said that, maybe because he always had trouble with silences. Still, the woman next to him seemed to bristle at his words. Perfect. One of those women who suspected every man of misbehavior. He stepped away from her even as he glanced her way. She was pretty, wore a blue dress that shimmered like a waterfall. It looked a little chilly for this time of year, but it pulled out the blue of her eyes. Golden blonde hair piled up, with a few escaped curls framing her face. Okay, very pretty. Going to a party? She nodded, her jaw a little tight. The elevator jerked as it started to ascend, and she grabbed the railing. "You okay?" "I'm fine," she said after a tiny gasp, a swallow. Statistically, an elevator has a 0.0002 chance of getting stuck. The lift smoothed out as it ascended. "That's 1 in every 5,000, she added. He quirked a smile. "Yep, I think we'll make it." He turned his back to the panel and stared out the window. What a view! He'd visited the Century Hotel just after it opened, when they were choosing a meeting space for this year's event, but he'd taken a service elevator to the top. This was a much better choice. The city dropped below him, an array of bright lights against dark sky, and overhead the moon puddled light against the skyline. From the top, the Metropolitans turned glorious with the glitter off the Mississippi River and the dazzling lights of the Stone Arch Bridge at St. Anthony Falls. The perfect setting for him to wow his father with his proposal for expansion. The hotel and water park he had planned for Deep Haven would win over the board. He knew it. The elevator jerked again, and even as he reached out to steady himself, behind him, the woman yelped and stumbled backwards. He turned just in time to catch her, using both hands to steady her as he grabbed her arms. She caught her hand on his arm. Sorry, she gave a tiny, high, and maybe a little terrified laugh. "What's that math again?" He smiled at her and had to amend himself once more. No, not just really pretty. She was a knockout. Curves, and the dress clung to every one of them, and a shapely mouth, not too much makeup, but enough to pull out her high, almost regal cheekbones. He sort of wished he was going to her party. "Thanks," she said, and when she smiled, something happened to his insides. Or maybe it was just the jerk of the elevator. It hiccuped again, and this time he braced his hand on the glass as the woman fell against him. "These stupid shoes," she said, but she sounded almost near tears. He wanted to argue that maybe it wasn't the shoes. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a great Wednesday. Bye.